Hey, and welcome to the first video of 2022. Before I jump in, I'm going to run through a few updates. So if you're not interested in that, then skip to here, to where the main part of the video is going to start to get to that. But if you are interested in my little updates, then yay, let's go. So I had a bit of a break over the last month as I just finished up a really big project, which I'll be telling you about in the spring. Some of you have already guessed what it is, and it's not really a huge secret anymore, but I want to wait a little bit longer to actually announce it, as it's not coming out for quite a few months yet, so park that thought. Also, this year is going to be a super exciting year as I'm finally moving in to my own studio. Yay! This is something I've been dreaming about and planning for and saving for a really long time. And it's just a few months away now. I've been vlogging little bits and bobs over the process over the last 2 years. Yes, it has been 2 years since I bought this space, but due to COVID and building supply delays, it's taken way longer than initially planned to actually get things ready. As you can see, I've already painted the dark grey wall white again, ready to move out of this place in a couple of months. I absolutely hate painting, so it's one of the things that I wanted to do over the Christmas break when I had a bit more time. So I'm excited to start sharing a bit more about the studio, which I think I'm going to call Food Photography Academy HQ in the coming months. And one last thing that I want to tell you about before we jump into the video is a new ScreenBar light that BenQ kindly sent me. I get emails quite often from companies who want to send me gadgets and things, and most of the time I decline because I'm not a huge fan of having loads of bits and bobs around that I'm never really going to use. But since we've been fully working from home, the table where I work gets really dark in the afternoon, and being winter it gets dark early, and it was becoming a bit of a strain on my eyes. So the way this ScreenBar works is it sits on top of your screen, and the attachment is fully flexible, so it would fit pretty much any monitor, I think. It's also nicely weighted, so it feels really secure and it's not flimsy at all. I was pretty skeptical in the beginning about having a light so close to the screen, as I thought it's probably going to create glare on the screen and affect my screen calibration, but it really doesn't at all. The LEDs are sat kind of inset into the light, so it directs it only on the typing area in front of the screen. I got the version that comes with a little control dial, which I sit just on my monitor stand, so I can change the brightness, the color temperature of the light, which is also so nice as the sun changes throughout the day, so I can keep my ambient light consistent. It just plugs in with a USB to the screen, so there's no extra cables either, which is always a win. Honestly, I don't often say yes to companies sending me things like this, but this has made my desk and editing setup so much easier. I honestly use it every single day, and Ben even bought himself one after getting jealous of mine, so that's a real testimonial for you. I've put a link down in the description for you to check it out. As I mentioned, they kindly sent this to me, but this isn't sponsored. It's not an affiliate link. I just literally like it that much that I want to share it with you. But for now, I thought we'd start the year with a new foundation series to go back to basics and make sure you have all of the basics you need to get started. In today's video, we'll go through what you need to think about to get started with food photography, and in the next few videos, we'll talk about raw format, histograms, and creating a fail-safe storage and backup workflow. So let's jump in to part one. The first major consideration when putting together a home food photography studio isn't even a photographic one. You want to ask yourself, is there an area of your home that's free from disturbances where you can give yourself the best chance of being able to focus and work without distractions? Your photography space doesn't have to be your kitchen or even near your kitchen, so think about where you have a good window and a quiet space in your home. If you're lucky enough to have a choice of rooms to potentially use as your studio space, then don't underestimate the advantage of locating it next to the kitchen, because going back and forth with a lot of food in long distances is not fun for long, especially when it comes to cleanup time. There's one major consideration that every photography space has in common, and that is the need for good light. So while studio flash can be great for food photography, and it's my personal go-to now, natural light is a great place to start. So when you're considering a part of your home for use as a studio, take note of the light. Is it direct hard or reflected soft light? And the angle of the light at different times of day and different times of year, as this should probably be your primary consideration when choosing where to position a shooting area for natural light photography. Next up, you'll need a camera. You might be surprised to hear that your camera is actually not the most important thing for your food photography, but spending some time choosing it now will help you get something that will last you a long time and will grow with you. I often get asked if using a phone can be a substitute for a DSLR, and while the cameras on smartphones these days are more advanced than they have ever been in terms of resolution and image quality, you still don't get quite the same control over your shooting settings or lenses. So while a phone is a great way to start to get you used to other principles like lighting and composition, ultimately, if you want to take your food photography to a professional level, you're gonna need to get a DSLR or mirrorless camera at some point. Now here's the bad news. I'm not gonna tell you which brand or model to buy because there really is no such thing as the best camera. Things change so fast these days that it is impossible to keep up. But the good news is that instead, I'm going to walk you through a list of features to keep in mind as you decide which camera to buy, including which features are particularly important for food photography. As with all types of photography, the lenses that you use are going to have a far bigger effect on the overall look of your finished photographs than the camera body will. If you want the full lowdown on cameras for food photography, then check out this video here. But for now, I would focus on choosing a camera that has a megapixel range somewhere from 12 to 24 megapixels. Whether you go for a crop sensor or a full frame is really up to you, but just bear in mind, this is going to impact the lenses you choose as well. As I mentioned earlier, choosing your lenses is a really important step, as this is what will affect the look of your photos the most. I made a more detailed video here about the best lenses for food photography, and I'm going to be creating a new updated version of that video very soon. Most cameras have the option to purchase with a kit lens, but this often isn't the best way to go. You're better off figuring out first what lens would be the best for you to start with, and then purchasing that lens with the camera body separately rather than a standard kit lens. If you're lucky enough to have a beautiful table with a relatively matte surface to use as a backdrop to start with, then great. But most household tables aren't ideal photography backdrops. And while you certainly don't need to invest in expensive backdrops immediately, having a few options of different colors on hand will help you create variety in your images and also get you confident working in different color combinations. So when you're choosing a backdrop, you want to look for something that is lightweight, matte, durable, and the right size. Most of mine are around 60 by 90 centimeters or 23 by 35 inches. There are lots of materials out there for surfaces at different price points, and each one has its own benefits. Some of the most usable materials are vinyl for great, cheap, versatile surfaces, wood, stone, painted backdrops, canvas and fabric, or DIYing it yourself for something completely custom. I think starting off with vinyl gives you the ability to try out many different styles and colors at quite a low cost, but still try and invest in good vinyl backdrops if you can. Props bring your story to life, adding context to your images. If you want a country farmhouse feel, clean white plates are not going to convey that message. On the other hand, if you want to give a modern restaurant feel, a wooden board with antique cutlery also won't work. Getting started with props can seem overwhelming, so here are the key things to think about when starting your collection. The kind of prop collection you need depends on the kind of work you're doing as a food photographer. If you're a food blogger, you'll want to build a collection that reflects your style and ties your work together. However, if you're looking to do more freelance work, it's important to have variety on hand. It's also normal to hire or purchase props for specific client jobs. It can be overwhelming when you're new to food photography to see how many different plates, bowls, glasses, and more you see other photographers using, and it can be tempting to go out and buy a lot of cheap props props to get started, but that rarely pays off in the long run. When I was starting out, I did exactly that, and I can tell you most of those props ended up right back at the thrift store they came from. I didn't take time to think about what I really needed in my collection, what would be versatile, and what would last me a long time. Now I'm much more intentional about the props I buy, and whenever I'm looking at a new prop, I ask myself these 3 questions. 1, can I think of at least 3 situations for which I would use this prop? 2, can I pair this with items I already have? And 3, will it add something new to my collection, or is it too similar to something I already own? Plan for what you need, especially if you feel there are gaps in your collection. If you know you shoot a lot of drinks, make a list of glassware that would give you lots of options. If you shoot a lot of savory food, make sure you have a variety of neutral plates and bowls in various sizes. When I'm buying items like plates and bowls, I like to buy them in 3s to make sure I have enough to create a full scene. There's a lot to learn as you get started, and taking it one step at a time and having patience with yourself is important. Focus on photographing basic subjects in your space and pay attention to the light. The light and how you use it is going to have the biggest impact on your photos. So before you even think about cooking fancy style dishes, make sure you've got your head around natural light and how to use your camera. Lastly, don't be afraid to invest in yourself, whether that's educating yourself or buying some higher end equipment and props. Those investments will pay off. When starting out, it's tempting to try and do everything yourself or on a shoestring budget, but deciding where to make smart investments will help you move forwards more quickly. If you're interested in taking your food photography education to the next level, then this might be the year for you to check out a membership to Food Photography Academy, which is the online platform I created for food photographers, where you get access to all my online courses, resources, and monthly live member Zoom calls where you can get live feedback on your images too. It is a party in there. We have a great time and I love our community. So check out the link in the description for more information. So that's it for part 1 of the foundation series, and I'll see you back here soon for part 2. Hello.